It's the way to go. Eat a fig, not a pig. Let your kindness show. If it's your wig or a jig or a swig, do you dig? Big. It's the way to go. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's that. And here's our show. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
I've just got that vegan glow, like a drag queen calling Patrick Goudreau. I'm a YouTube vegan cooking up good eating. Veganism makes me glow. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
All right, vegans, all together now. When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's that.
It's the way to go.
It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio. We're podcasting from New York City
and San Francisco
to discuss veganism in all of its glory. I'm here with Laura Yaz, vegan writer and entertainment know-it-all.
And I'm here with Ben Strothman, otherwise known as Honey LeBronx, everyone's favorite vegan drag queen.
You can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube by searching for Big Fat Vegan Radio.
And you can follow along with the show notes at bigfatveganradio.com.
She's not lying. Today is going to be our first ever year in review episode since we just had a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
I feel like we should blow on some horns.
Oh, they're blowing, honey. Can't you hear them?
Oh, yay! I'm going to throw some confetti.
Oh, you got it in my mouth. Thank you for that. Woo!
What'd you do for New Year's Eve, Ben? Did you do anything?
I did nothing. I am, I don't know if I sound it. I'm feeling a little better now, but I was sick as a dog for a couple of days. It really hit me. I'm still really out of it. I'm still really out of it. Disclaimer for this: I will look back and I will not remember having recorded this episode.
I will vouch that Ben is really out of it.
He's really out of it. It's also giving me what I consider to be, I hope to be, a really sexy, raspy, husky kind of voice. But
I'm not noticing anything in your voice.
No, I feel.
Do you have a sore throat?
I don't have a sore throat, but a singer can tell where his instrument is, and I don't feel my voice resonating in all of the normal areas. My voice feels very far back, like it's trapped underneath some boxes on moving
Your
day.
instrument is affected.
My instrument. But no, I was going to go out to XS Lounge with Kitten with Whip and Frosty Flakes and a bunch of friends. And I really was looking forward to it, but you know what? I just, at like 9:30 or 10 at night, I was like, well, good night. And very uncharacteristic, Ben Strothman turned the lights off, put a pillow underneath his head, and I went to sleep at about 10
Ben
o'clock at night.
Strothman going to sleep is uncharacteristic.
At all. Going to sleep at all.
Ben never sleeps, everybody. It's weird. He's crazy.
My mom called like 20 minutes prior to New Year's, 20 minutes prior to midnight. My mom called. And I don't even know what she said, but she was just calling to wish me a Happy New Year. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, New Year to you too. And I went back to sleep, and I basically spent the next like 48 hours just sleeping.
So funny.
Ha ha ha. What did you do for New Year's?
I flew back to California from Washington. I was visiting my parentals. We went on vacation together.
That sounds like that could either be wonderful or otherwise.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent the day on a plane. It's a pretty short flight, though, I have to say. It's especially compared to I used to fly from New York all the time, so feels awful short these days.
Yeah. You guys sound like you're pretty close, like you're like the three amigos.
Well, I'm an only child.
Yeah, there you have it.
That'll happen.
Yeah. So, did you have anything interesting for dinner last night?
I had nachos featuring one of my favorite products, Nacheez.
What kind of cheese?
Nacheez, Nacheez.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just had nachos with Nacheez, which is one of my favorite products. I don't know if you've had Nacheez before. I really love it. I used to only be able to get it online, but they sell it at the Rainbow Grocery in San Francisco. So I don't go up there that often to that grocery store. It's a vegetarian grocery store. It's so awesome. Anyway, but they have a lot of vegan products and hard to find stuff. And they have Nacheez. So I picked up some when I was last there. Got a couple jars. I am down to the last half of the last jar.
Oh, that's a scary prospect.
They're so good. It's so good. It's like made from cashews and bell peppers, and they have a spicy version and a regular version. And you can do all sorts of stuff. I mean, like a lot of times I'll just put some salsa on chips and then put the Nacheez over it. But I'll also make like chili dogs and put Nacheez over it. I use it for a lot of stuff. I love it. Or you could just kind of like, eat it. Also good.
With a spoon.
Also very good. I bet it would be really good over rice with greens. I mean, it would be good with a lot of stuff. It's really good. It's a really delicious product.
It's interesting how many vegan cheeses will use red pepper as a sort of coloring agent. That sort of makes it that orangey color. I love red pepper.
I also think for nacho cheese, because I think you know this about me, I'm not a big bell pepper fan in general. I don't like them very much. I don't dislike them. I would never be like, no bell peppers. I'm just not like going to seek them out. They're not like my favorite ingredient.
Yeah.
But I do find that when I make nacho cheese at home, which I like to, I'll use like just cashews, make a cheese sauce. I like to put a cooked red bell pepper in there because it's really good for nacho cheese. It's really good for flavor, which is saying something because I don't like bell peppers very much, but I think it's a really good product.
Oh, I absolutely adore bell peppers.
I know you do. You like them a lot more than me. I just watched your most recent.
I love that you can get them in 4 different colors. I remember, this is even before I was vegetarian, but I once made a rainbow chili. The recipe called for green bell peppers, and I'm like, but there's also red ones. Wait, there's also yellow ones? Wait, and orange ones? And I got them and I lined them all up. For a moment, I was very disappointed that there were no blue bell peppers, but I carried on. And I made a chili that had 4 different colors of bell peppers in it, and it was just delightful.
That sounds beautiful. That's the thing I do. I do love how beautiful they are, and I also know how healthful they are, so I wish that I liked them more.
It was a little bell peppery.
Was it? Yeah, no, like you made your tofu scramble on your newest episode of the the vegan drag queen. And you put so much bell pepper in it. And I was like, oh, I would never do that, but it looks good.
For those watching that episode, that is double the amount of bell peppers that recipe calls for. So it's a very oniony, peppery scramble. I would recommend just using half. But here's the thing. I can't just cut an onion in half and cut a bell pepper in half and then like put the other half away for like, I guess this is going to be somewhere in my future, but I don't know where or how. Like, I'm like, if I'm cutting it, I'm going to use it. So.
Oh, see, that's so funny. I love to do that. I love to have diced. What I do is I dice the whole onion, but then I only use half of it, and then the other half is ready to go.
Yeah, I usually cut up the onion, and then I put the other half in my sock drawer. You're not supposed to do that?
Well, if it helps with odor, do what you gotta do.
You know what? Actually, fun fact, our friend Frosty Flakes is king of playing practical jokes.
Oh, and,
I mean, when I talk about the kind of practical jokes that Frosty Flakes has played on people, it kind of includes setting people on fire in a way that, like, you have to admit was funny. But I'm like, dude, you still shouldn't have set your roommate on fire. Like, I'm not trying to say it wasn't funny, but you did set a human being on fire for a minute. Long story. I won't go into it here, but okay, maybe I will. He was getting mad at his roommate once, and so his roommate like went to the bathroom one morning, and Frosty like took like a liter of vodka or something like that in a funnel and poured it underneath the door to the bathroom and then just lit a match. And like imagine that you're like on the throne in the morning and you're not even awake yet, and like suddenly you're like, wait a minute, what? And the floor's all wet, and then boom, the whole room just quickly goes up in a ball of flame, and it's over as soon as it starts, and you're okay, but you're a little shaken. But the reason I bring this up, the reason onions factor into this is apparently Adam is Frosty Flakes' boy name. Adam was just playing a joke on his other roommate. And when his roommate was gone, he would like leave his jacket at the apartment, and Adam would take like an onion, chop it up into slices, put 2 big fists full of onion into his roommate's jacket pockets and leave them in there for hours. And then right before his roommate got home, he would take them out and throw them away. And he would do this like for such a long period of
gross.
Over a long period. Could you imagine? You're like, whenever I wear that one coat, I smell like onions. I'm just not sure why. Adam knows why.
Put my finger on it.
Yeah. So Adam and I have an inherent distrust of each other because we always know that at any given moment, while I'm sleeping, Frosty Flakes might be coming up with some kind of wicked revenge.
Funny.
Anyway, there's that. Ask you what I had for dinner last night.
What did you have for dinner last night?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I slept.
Because you're sick.
I was in a sick coma for 48 hours. I did wake for a little while, and I'm like, you know what? I need to leave my apartment. I don't know. I know it's cold, but I need some fresh air. I've been in the 7 by 8 foot room for 48 hours. I need some air. And I went to my oldest vegetarian, and I got a falafel sandwich with tons of hummus and veggies, and I got some lentil soup and some fresh squeezed orange juice. And then I crawled back home and went to bed. So that was really around lunchtime, but that technically was the last meal I had yesterday.
That sounds pretty great. I kind of miss Mao's.
Yeah, well, they have them like all over the world, just not by you, I guess.
Oh, I haven't seen any out here. You're right, there probably is one. I just haven't seen one.
They have them in freaking Amsterdam. I mean, they got to have one at least in California.
Yeah.
But and the only thing I did while it was a very productive 48-hour nap, because I figured if I'm in bed and I have nothing to keep me busy and I can't go anywhere, I'm going to finally edit and upload episode 6 of my cooking show. So I feel like I've been eating tofu scramble for like 2 days, but I have not. I have not. But the episode is up. Go watch Honey LeBronx make a tofu scramble.
Everybody enjoy. I found watching a tofu scramble cooking demo quite helpful in early veganism.
Yeah. It's just so easy to make, and it's so delicious too.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And and I should mention, as I mentioned in the intro, we are now on YouTube. We decided to help get our episodes out there and to make it easier and more accessible to a wider audience to post our episodes on the YouTube. All of our podcast episodes from now on will be on YouTube, as well as iTunes, as well as bigfatveganradio.com and whatever podcatcher you choose to use. So hopefully this should just make it easier for other people to find us and for you to share our podcast episodes with friends and family. Boom. Now you can just post an episode right on someone's Facebook wall, just like you're sharing a video.
Pretty cool.
Just go to youtube.com/bigfatveganradio for our YouTube channel. Please be sure to subscribe. We would love to have some new subscribers to our YouTube channel. And otherwise, you can just find us by searching for Big Fat Vegan Radio on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about 2012.
Let's talk about 2012.
2012.
Hell no, we won't go. Hell no. Wait, what?
So we decided to sort of do hisses and purrs for the year. Our biggest hisses and our biggest purrs for 2012. Why don't we start with hisses? That way we can end on a positive note. What do you say?
I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah, great. So, there's a bunch of stuff that's just happened in 2012. But basically, I guess the two main hisses from me are, number one, Lady Gaga is a fur hag, and I would like to throw a bag of flour at her head. She's awful. If you missed that whole scandal, you can read about it online. Basically, she was just wearing a ton of fur, and then she was a total jerk about it. She wrote this very yucky response, And I don't like her. I don't like you, Lady Gaga. I don't like you. That's what's happened.
What were her responses? What did she say?
It's long. It's because she's long-winded and awful.
Yeah. I'm sure her answer included something to the effect of, "Well, I'm Italian, so I'm an Italian girl, and so
no, of course not. It's like stupid. I feel like that's even a better. There is no good answer. She's just awful. Her response is awful.
Yeah.
Like, if I see a fur and I think it's a piece of art and I want to wear it, I'm gonna wear it. Anyway, so I'm totally over Lady Gaga.
It's okay. So are the gays.
Not that I was like a big fan or anything, but I did like her more than I do now. So, Lady Gaga, you is making me hiss.
It's fine because she's pretty much lost to the gays as well. We're a very fickle group, and if you
Has she?
Gays are like toddlers, and if you bore us for more than 30 seconds, you've completely lost our attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually going to make one of my hisses in general, just the fact that this past year, and what do I know of fashion? Everyone knows that I have no sense of fashion, but it just seems to me as though fur is making a huge comeback. I feel like if one person wears fur, some other person's going to wear fur, then 3 more people, then 20 more people, then a small nation is suddenly wearing fur again. And I feel like after 2 whole decades of such, successful anti-fur propaganda, really putting it in people's heads that fur is murder, fur is blood, fur is egregious, unnecessary cruelty. And I feel like people have gotten really lazy about it, and like people like Lady Gaga bringing it back into fashion and defending it. And suddenly you look around and you see just so many people wearing fur or fur trim or fur lining. A drag queen that I work with the other day was even wearing, and I kind of don't say anything to the old hag drag queens. Like there's some really old lady drag queens I work with who walk around in like full fur coats and whatever. I've never had conversations with them anyway. Literally, there's one drag queen I work with who she'll walk into and it's not anything against me personally. It's literally like her brain can't process that I'm an additional person in the room. She's not used to me. So she'll walk in and she'll say goodbye to everyone before she leaves, but then she won't talk to me. The only time we've ever had a private moment is at the end of the night. I'm taking my face off in the bathroom by myself. She walks in to do her business, sees that I'm there. She's confused by my presence, but then kind of shrugs, pulls her pants down, and pees sitting down on the toilet in the bathroom with me while I'm washing my face off, and still does not say anything to me or say goodnight or whatever. Our entire relationship is just, I see her butt, and then she pees in front of me, and then she leaves. But so this is why I don't want to.
That's so gross.
Her name is Mayuko, but she actually I can't say her actual name because I'd have to bleep it because her name is Japanese effing B word. That's her actual name as far as the audience knows. That's what she calls herself. But she wears these like full length furs to work. And first off, all I can think is you look dirty and smelly.
Real?
Yes. I mean, I can't imagine it's not. It looks real. And I don't imagine that you're faithfully laundering this item twice a week, but you are living in it. Like when you're not at work, you're wrapped in this fur coat. It just looks so disgusting to me. So people like her, I'm not about to approach, but a good friend of mine the other day, a very pretty queen, a very young, new queen who's just very stylish, looked amazing. And what is clipped to her belt line as an accessory? One of those damn foxtail things.
Oh, I hate those tail things.
First off, they don't even look good. And secondly, that's an actual appendage. Like, one of the things I dislike about fur in general, when people try to make the argument, well, why don't you say bad things about faux leather? Because faux leather isn't trying to look like the animal. Leather does not look like an animal's skin. It's treated to look like something else, Vinyl just does not look like a dead animal. Fur, even fake fur, looks like the actual animal. And when you're taking
I'm
it a step
actually
further,
okay with fake fur.
Well, I mean, I would rather people get a big wear fake fur only campaign than wear the real thing, but I'm still pretty
You're
opposed
right. Well,
to
the
fake
thing is,
fur.
a lot of people wear faux fur because they want people to think it's real, but not like my mom wears faux fur. She wears a lot of it, but she's wears it because she does not want to wear fur. She's very anti-fur, but she loves the way faux fur looks, and she wears these coats that look great.
I hear ya, and I can, I was watching Martha Stewart did a video for PETA where she was, because Dan Matthews sent her a letter when she was in prison saying, hey, he worded it better than this, but he's like, while you're in prison, you may as well think about fur. and he sent her some materials, and she came out of prison saying, I'm anti-fur. Hey, PETA, let's do a video. And it's a great video. And at the end of it, she says, if you must wear fur, wear faux fur. And I thought, there's no must. Like, who must? Who out there has to wear a fake fur? I just look at it this way. If it's,
well, nobody has to, but I just think there are so many beautiful faux options out there, and they look fabulous, and you can look fabulous in them. Why would you get the real thing?
Sure, but if they do look fabulous to the untrained eye, if that looks like a real fur, you're making it look appealing, and I just feel like it's about creating a market for it. This is exactly why I think it's made a comeback, because people are wearing it more. Whether it's fake or not, people are wearing fur. And there is a difference between fake fur, real fur, and fuzz. Okay, there's animals out there that have fur or they have hair. No animal really has fuzz. When you see a coat that looks so fake fur that it's like, oh, that's clearly not even fake fur. That's just like fuzzy Oshkosh bagosh. Like that I have no problem with. But like actual fur that's trying to replicate fur.
Yeah, I have to disagree with you, Ben. I don't have a problem with faux fur. I really don't. I think that the better it looks, the less people are going to want to use real fur. I think that's an important option. If you don't need it, we don't need real fur because there are amazing faux fur coats out there. I think it's important. Look, what I will argue is, and this is what I know a lot of women do, my mom is one of them, is wear a button that says, faux not fur, or an anti-fur button on your faux fur coat so people know that you're wearing faux. But I think that faux fur is okay. I really do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see, I think that's a bit more commendable that she's choosing to make a thing of it and actually advocate for faux. But, I also know that a lot of fake fur, a lot of real fur gets marketed as fake fur because it's cheaper and easier to just tear the skin off an animal than it is to manufacture faux fur. And a lot of real fur gets sold as faux. That's another one of my main arguments against it.
Is that true? Where is that? I don't know anything about that.
Joshua Catcher, baby.
What?
Joshua Catcher.
Ugh.
I got that from his Concrete Catwalk. That's just one of the reasons why I'm really timid about opening that door on the whole faux fur thing, just because someone can honestly think that they're buying a faux. And I mean, just think about it. I mean, what's cheaper to make? To actually manufacture a realistic synthetic?
No, it is cheaper to make a faux fur, Ben. That's the truth. I mean, I'm sorry. And there's a list of certified faux fur dealers on PETA. You can go to a place that's definitely selling you faux fur.
I don't mean to make
this an argument, but I don't think we should be against faux fur. I don't want to express that I'm against faux fur because I'm not. I'm not against it.
I'm very happy to be wrong on this, and I hope that I am. I welcome if anyone has any better information on this. I would definitely welcome that. But
I'm sure you're not wrong, but I'm sure that there are you can. I'm sure that that's. I know that a lot of people buy something with like a fur trim on it,
right?
And they think it's fake because they don't think anything of it when they look at it. They just think, oh, what is this? It's just fake. But there's a lot of really cheap, real fur that they sell, like as a trim on a hood or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's disgusting. It's usually from dogs.
Yep. I don't think people realize how often dogs and cats actually get skinned for fur.
I know. It's especially cheap imported stuff. That's where you're going to find it the most.
I guess I didn't mean to spend this much time on it, but I guess that's one of my hisses.
Me neither. I'm sorry.
In general, well, that's fine, but
you can just edit it out.
It's one of my hisses in general. Is just it definitely seems as though fur has been making a huge comeback, and when I do talk to people about it, especially in the drag community, when I talk to people who are definitely purchasing or wearing real fur, when I have engaged them in conversation about it, they seem so relaxed on their ethics. Like they seem like they once used to care, but they just got burned out on caring. And people feel like, you know what? I have the right to celebrate fashion, and I've cared about it for 10 years, so I don't have to care anymore. I just feel like people are done caring about fur, and so it's coming back because people are ready for it to come back, and that's just what's driving me crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on the runways a lot. It's upsetting.
Yeah. Well, let's go. Do we have other hisses? Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna hiss about. Oh yeah, well, this is kind of controversial. This is gonna be, I mean, whatever. This is all part of that like abolition versus welfare thing, which is a big argument in the vegan community. But the bottom line is, I feel that Farm Sanctuary really advocated for sort of humane slaughter and humane meat, and I was really upset about it. So that's one of my biggest hisses of the year, because they're big vegan advocates, and I was bummed to see them get behind this. They made this video that's, basically all about welfare. And I don't mean to say that lobbying for welfare is without reason, or that lobbying for welfare is without, that we shouldn't do it or something, or that no good comes of it. I think good does come of it. I think it is good that there are advocates out there doing it. However, I think it's important to keep the message clean, especially from a farm sanctuary. I don't know. It's just like, it bummed me out. So it's a big hiss from me. And I'm very anti happy meat, and I know that a lot of people out there are, and it's always good to stay up on it. And anyway, I put in the show notes, there's a link to James E McWilliams' blog, he's like so amazing. He's such an incredible writer, and he's like just totally committed to debunking happy meat and all that stuff, and it's just brilliant. So anyway, I just linked to one of his articles about it, because I just think that it's so easy to get carried away and be like, oh, that we can have this stuff and we can do it the right way. And I just think anyway, I was just disappointed. I was disappointed in you, Farm Sanctuary. You're making me hiss.
Wow. Yeah, that's
disappointing, right?
Over the 3 years that I've been vegan, very often I have put certain people or institutions on pedestals, and I've told myself, oh, they're such and such, or they're so-and-so. They can never fail me. And I've got to learn, like, I can't do that, I mean, just as you and I have a different point of view on the faux fur thing, certain people are not always going to be necessarily aligned with what I consider to be my values.
Yeah.
Well, that is definitely very disappointing. Let's see, what else have I got to hiss about? For my next hiss, I am going to attempt to talk about an issue that I don't exactly know a whole heck of a lot about, so bear with me if I don't know as much about this as I should. But just as there has been this huge fiscal cliff coming up, where after January 1st, all these things are going to expire, all these things are going to catch up to us, and we're going to go over the cliff, and we're going to plunge into this awful, recession. Just as we've had that fiscal cliff approaching, there has been something called the dairy cliff, which I just heard about this at the gym. It was on the news a few nights ago, and I thought, this would be really interesting. And so I was listening to some people talking about it, and basically some government subsidies on dairy were set to expire. And if they did expire, basically our prices on milk and cheese and other forms of dairy would all double. And people were talking about, oh, this is awful, this can't be allowed to happen. And some other people were saying, you know what, I think this is great. And I think this is exactly what needs to happen, because then people are going to be forced to see, just what the true cost of dairy is, and how all of this government money is going to subsidizing it and going towards bringing the price of it down and making it affordable. And honestly, I was really looking forward to seeing this dairy cliff actually happen and seeing dairy prices actually double. Fun fact, I do have to say, as much as I wanted to see that happen, the very real fact for me is that my family, that's actually their bread and butter. No pun intended. My parents, dairy is their medium, that's what they work in. And if dairy prices were to double, it would have hit my family's business really, really hard. Does that mean I hope it doesn't happen? Not at all, because I really think what needs to happen needs to happen. But it was kind of scary to think for the first time, as a vegan, my ethics as an animal rights advocate had me hoping for something that would actually be bad for my family's livelihood. And it was just scary to contemplate that. Unfortunately, the dairy cliff did not end up happening, because what happened? The government ended up coming and saving the day and
big surprise,
bailing out the dairy industry anyway. So here's the funny thing. It's like, milk and cheese costs might be doubling after the new year. Don't worry. The government's going to step in and make sure that we don't have to pay more for milk and cheese. How are we going to do that? Well, they're just going to charge all the taxpayers a lot of money to make sure that they don't have to pay a lot of extra money. That does not make sense to me. That's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So, Dairy Cliff and the U.S. government, you're making me hiss.
Take that, Congress.
A great big phlegmy hiss. Imagine a real sickly cat just hissing at you.
Midnight, not a sound from the pavement as the moon lost her.
So how about we purr about some stuff that went down in 2012?
I like to purr.
I have to ask if the audience is still with me. I apologize. I normally have so much more energy than this. I'm not feeling it, but I'm doing it for y'alls.
You're doing fine, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, let's see. I have plenty to purr about, so I'll go first. I'll say one of my biggest purrs about 2012 was the launch and release of Beyond Meat, which is an incredible product, and I think quite a game changer as far as the vegan meat world goes. And I'm a big fan, and I absolutely love it. And I know that there's more in store. I've heard rumors of other products that the company is working on, and I just can't wait.
Rumor has it.
Beyond Meat, you make me purr.
Are we going back and forth with our purrs?
Sure.
Okay. I would like to purr that... in 2012, one thing that I consider a major win for veganism is that Subway, the very popular sandwich chain, where we know vegans can get a delicious veggie delight, which is basically just all their veggies on some bread, Subway rolled out 3 new vegan options. Now, it was just a temporary sort of test thing. I believe they rolled these out in parts of Canada. I don't know whether they made it to the US at all, and they were just testing them. But their 3 options were their Malibu Greek, their Italian black bean, and the sweet riblet. Yes, there were some locations in Maryland and Washington, D.C. and Virginia. Why Virginia? Why wouldn't you just bring that stuff right to New York City?
I know.
Because, there's all those, Virginia is for vegans, they always say. Don't they? Isn't that what they always say? But I don't know how well those actually went. I think the goal is for those to actually become standard options available at all Subway restaurants. I know I would love to see that. But sort of a double purr here, one of my favorite organizations, Compassion Over Killing, they launched their We Love Subway ad, and they're encouraging people to write to Subway and demand that they add vegan options. So you can go to welovesubway.com, and there's a link right on there where you can send a note to Subway telling them, hey, I live in New York City. I really want to see vegan options down here. I mean, hey, if enough people write in demanding these things, they're not stupid. They're going to go for it. So definitely check that out. And wherever you live, tell Subway you want some vegan options.
Yeah, do it.
And remember, you're not doing it for you guys. You're doing that for me. I live a block away from a Subway. Don't you know how easy my life would be if you guys would just get off your butts and write to Subway and be like, look, I'm a friend of Ben. Yeah, that Ben. And look, he's hungry, you guys. He eats a lot. I'm not saying he's fat, but, you know.
I love Subway, too.
Yeah. So Subway and compassion over killing, you are making me purr.
Yay! Purr. Oh, I have more purrs. I have so many.
We have a lot of purrs for you guys.
I'm purring about 12. All right, so let's see. What's another purr? Oh, Seamless Web did a little end of the year review for their website, which if people don't know, it's an online food ordering service. And over 30,000 kale dishes were ordered on Seamless Web in 2012. And that's only on Seamless Web. That's incredible. Go kale.
I'm trying to imagine how many different varieties of kale dishes are
so
being carried.
many.
Oh my God. Seamless Web makes us purr. And I have a very similar purr to that. In 2012, Yelp, the very popular ratings and reviews website, actually launched a new filter for vegan and vegetarian restaurants, making it that much easier for people to find vegan and vegetarian restaurants.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they wouldn't have. Clearly, they didn't do that because they're trying to help out the vegan movement. They did that because of demand, you know, because of the increasing demand for vegan options and the increasing number of vegan restaurants and vegan-friendly restaurants. So Yelp and Seamless Web, you are both making us purr. You want to hit the next one?
Sure. My last purr, my final purr, is over a very boring article, but nonetheless, it's exciting news, which is that meat consumption is projected to decline over the next 4 years, which is super exciting. It's just if trends continue, it's just going to keep going down. Boo to the ya.
Let's wait and see what the U.S. government does to step in there.
Well, I mean, declining is declining. There is that whole thing where there was all that extra chicken, and of course the government bought it and put it in school lunches.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Earlier this year, so that's always discouraging. But hey, if it goes down, it goes down. It'll keep going down. I've got my fingers crossed very tightly. I'm purring. I'm not purring about the USDA, but I'm purring about their projections because I like them.
Quick purr for the USDA's projections. And just hearing, there was all that extra chicken, that does not sound appetizing for some reason. It makes it sound like...
It shouldn't.
It makes it sound like 2 or 3 trucks went rogue and they were found crashed on the freeway. And you know when a truck spills their entire cargo and there's just all these boneless, skinless chicken breasts laying on the road? And like, well, what should we do with those? Let's feed them to the kids.
Ugh, I know, right? Let's give it to the poor children.
Well, speaking of meat consumption being in a projected decline, that sets up my next purr as well. That apparently over this past summer, NASA made headlines by announcing that they have a voyage going to Mars in 2030. And because Mars is so far away and they can't really just make regular food drops every 6 months like they normally would, so NASA has planned an entirely plant-based menu for their astronauts for the Mars 2030 expedition because they've just realized they're like, it's just not feasible to try to truck a bunch of meat out there, and they have to figure out a way to like allow the astronauts to grow their own plants and produce and whatnot on the ship. And not only that, but they're also realizing that by not making their dishes meat based, they weren't beholden to all like the same old meals that they would normally have, but they realized this also opened up a huge range of options for variety in the menu that they'll be serving those astronauts.
It's also just cool, right? Because astronauts are so cool. And what are the astronauts? Well, they're vegan when they're in outer space.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Of course, you also lose a lot of bone density when you're in outer space. So, of course, I bet all their buddies are going to blame all that on their being vegan.
No, the fact that they're in outer space.
So that's really it for our PURRS. We do have a special little bonus section for our PURRS. We've got a list of celebrities who have gone vegan in 2012. We already mentioned in a couple episodes ago that James Cameron, the popular movie director of Titanic and Avatar, went vegan.
God, I hate Avatar. It's so bad.
I haven't seen Avatar, but
I hated it.
When I heard that people were committing suicide because life in real life could never be as good as what they saw in Avatar.
Well, you know what? I went with a bunch of people who were like stoned, and I wasn't stoned. And I feel like they had such a better time than I did.
Well, there's your problem right there. One thing I've learned myself as a former stoner, is that if you have to be high to appreciate something, it's just not art. I look back at some of the things I wrote or drew or conceived of or recorded when I was high, and I'm just like, oh, Ben, what nonsense, what rubbish, what drivel. But at the
I will say, though, even the people who were stoned when they saw it didn't like it that much. They just didn't hate it as much as I did. I was mad after the movie. Wow. I was like, I want my money back. I want that time back. That movie was terrible.
That's how I felt after the Simpsons movie.
I can't recall if I saw that or not.
Well, there you go. I mean, if you saw it, shouldn't you recall whether you saw it?
I guess. I don't know. There's just so much Simpsons out there. There's just so much Simpsons.
That's how I felt about the Simpsons movie. I wanted those. As soon as I left the theater, I'm like, well, that's 2 hours of my life never getting back. I mean, to be fair, what was I going to do with those 2 hours? I was probably going to sit and watch Pat Murphy Stark on some infomercials. So another celebrity that went vegan in 2012, perhaps you've heard of Chaka Khan.
Who?
Chaka Khan.
Say what?
Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan went vegan. She...
I fucking love Chaka Khan.
Laura loves Chaka Khan, and she said, it's going to pain me to have to feign like I'm saying who after you say Chaka Khan. So audience, guess who else went vegan in 2012? Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell went vegan after learning that Bill Clinton had a heart attack. And then newsflash, apparently she's not vegan anymore.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah. So she went vegan because Bill Clinton, had a heart attack, went vegan, and came back from it so fabulously with the vegan diet that Rosie O'Donnell, after her heart attack, she's like, well, I'm going to do what Bill Clinton did, which for the first time in history, that was a good idea. And so Rosie O'Donnell went vegan, still took the kids fishing, and didn't see any issue there because, of course, she didn't go vegan for ethics or animal rights. But Rosie O'Donnell went vegan, and she's back. And she's back to being not vegan. So
she's pescatarian.
She's pescatarian. Like, that's a thing. That reminds me. I passed by this beautiful tree the other day. It was so beautiful. It smelled a little bit though, because there was fish hanging from it. I guess it was just fish grow from trees now. So also more celebrities who went vegan in 2012. Kristen Bell, the adorable Kristen Bell, and her husband.
I love Kristen Bell.
And her husband Dax Shepard. They are both now confirmed vegans.
And sloth lovers.
If you haven't seen the video of Kristen Bell about to meet a sloth for the first time, it's pretty adorable.
Oh God, it's so cute.
Though I do have to ask how the sloth came to just be delivered to her front door and whether that was in the sloth.
Her fiance, Dax Shepard, he arranged it for her birthday.
Right, but what is it, dial a sloth? It
was probably through a zoo, I bet.
The idea of a sloth just being delivered to some civilian's house for their amusement, I'm not exactly down with that. But whatever, the video itself is quite adorable. And maybe now she's thought about that since going vegan. But also Michelle Pfeiffer went vegan. And again, she went vegan this year because of Bill Clinton. So although Bill Clinton technically, and I hate to burst anyone's bubble who doesn't already know this, but he has admitted to now and then eating fish.
Yes, yeah.
But the fact that someone like Michelle Pfeiffer is encouraged by Bill Clinton's, rebound in his health, I think that's wonderful that it's inspiring so many other celebrities to go vegan. And lastly, oh, right. I think I heard about this guy. Laura added a name here for me to say. Is this the one that I have on my little list here? I did have a football player on my list. Yes, Arian Foster, the running back for Houston, Texas. I'm not good at talking about sports, so I don't know if that sounds official. One of the NFL's top in rushing yards. He also went vegan-ish, though, Laura, I hate to burst your bubble. I read up a little bit on it. And he does admit to now and then dabbling.
Oh, no, I did know that. Yeah. I know.
He says that he has gone back to eating some meat after talking about not eating meat. But it sounds like he is one who is on a journey towards a plant-based approach to his work.
I think he also sounds like he's pretty convinced. Like he finds the vegan diet pretty convincing, I think.
Yeah. So, but there you have it. That's a lot of people making headlines for veganism in 2012. And perhaps most notably, we have two...
The crowd goes wild.
The crowd does. The crowd goes wild. Ben does not have it in him to go wild today, so I will let Laura do that for me. Also, we would like to add Anne Hathaway, fabulous star of Les Mis. Laura, did you see Les Mis?
I did.
Oh my God, I'm dead inside. I saw it with Kitten with a Whip, who kept looking over at me during I Dreamed a Dream like, what is this? Is Ben Strothman crying at something? To which I reminded him, I don't cry at sad things. I cry at beautiful things. I know that sounds exceptionally faggy of me, but
it sure does.
I am known to be exceptionally faggy. I cry at beautiful, beautiful things. And her I Dreamed a Dream was so beautiful. Yes, it was sad, but it was more than sad. It was beautiful and just exceptionally well executed. But Anne Hathaway, who I don't know whether we can call her a full-on vegan. I know that she had custom-designed vegan shoes for Les Mis. Because the girl couldn't afford to feed her child, but she could get custom-made vegan shoes in pre-revolution France.
Oh, I believe that she insisted on all her materials being vegan through costuming as well, but the ones that got the buzz were her red carpet shoes.
Yeah, I think I read something here.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely read. She only wore vegan clothes in Les Mis. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Vegan shoes, everything. She was vegan head to toe. She insisted.
I can't wait to be at that point in my career as an actor where I'm like, oh, no, I just can't. Like, I remember having to eat a non-vegan cupcake as an actor. Of course, I spit it out. I did not ingest it.
I know, I remember that. So
I would just love to be at that Anne Hathaway, like, I'm sorry, let's just be clear. I'm going to give you a minute while I drink a coffee. I'm going to let you just go over my rider. And I'm just going to allow you to feel stupid when you...
Yeah, I really like Anne Hathaway. I like her. I think she's very talented.
I have to say, I've never really had an opinion on her one way or another. If I had an opinion one way or another, I sort of was leaning towards not liking her, only because I knew nothing about her other than that everyone likes her. So I'm like, why does everyone like Anne Hathaway? Nah.
I never liked her much. I mean, I had no opinion really until I saw her and Rachel Getting Married, which I think is a really incredible movie, and she's really incredible in it. She was nominated for an Oscar, and I think it's an incredible performance. It's an incredible movie. I loved it. Yeah.
Well, when I heard that she was doing Les Mis, I was anything but excited because, back in the day, they'd cast a movie star in a movie musical, and guess what? They couldn't sing. So they got a real singer to dub over the singing. And I'm kind of like, Anne Hathaway, really? You're going to have her sing her own stuff? But when I saw her sing I Dreamed a Dream, I remember thinking to myself, if only this is what every musical theater actor could bring to the table. And mind you...
Well, she's a singer. She is a singer. She has that history.
But Anne Hathaway is not just any performer bringing to the table what any performer should bring. She is exceptional. I mean, I can't even expect...
I like her, yeah. I'm going to refrain from commenting on Les Mis, but I like Anne Hathaway very much.
Let's just refrain on commenting on Russell Crowe in Les Mis. As much as I wanted to like him... Oh, losing his looks and his voice. Anyway, but Anne Hathaway did have a 100% vegan wedding, which I think is awesome.
Totally awesome.
As did Natalie Portman, who
is awesome.
who is vegan again. Now, I didn't realize this. Laura helped me out here. Natalie Portman was vegan for a long time, I guess. But as far as I knew, she was no longer vegan. Laura, could you clear that up for us?
Yeah, sure. From what I read, which is a lot, because everybody should know, a big Natalie Portman lover, and was very upset when I heard this. It was just that basically when she was pregnant, she couldn't handle cravings for baked goods and started eating non-vegan baked goods because she couldn't handle the fact that she wanted cookies and cake all the time and couldn't have it every second of every day. And, I've never been pregnant, but I have heard that you become rather possessed when you're pregnant. So, anyway, from everything I understand from her, I recently read that she's working with Jonathan Safran Foer on a movie version of Eating Animals. And really? I think that she is very passionate about being vegan. And so I am not surprised to hear that she's vegan again. I always hear that she's at vegan restaurants. Although, again, I wouldn't put any money on it just because she did stop being vegan. So, it makes me a little nervous. But she did have a vegan wedding. And not just anybody would have a vegan wedding. So good for her,
right. And I mean, it goes back to like what we said about Ellen. Like, okay, so you want some baked goods. How about you dip into your fabulous wealth and have someone
hire a vegan baker to follow you around.
Jesus. I mean, you know what? Call up Honey LeBronx and I'll come make you some black and white cookies,
I mean, no offense to you, Honey LeBronx. She could freaking hire Issa Chandra to live in her kitchen,
Yeah, but would Issa Chandra glue her eyebrows down, shave everything, paint her eyebrows on in some unnatural place 5 inches above her eyebrows, pad her bra and butt and hips, cinch in her waist? There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just the cooking.
That's true.
Yeah. As long as we've cleared that up. So that is pretty much our 2012 year in review. There you go.
That's what we think. That's what
our overall hisses and purrs for 2012. And if there's anything that we've missed that you think is a particularly important highlight, please go ahead and comment on this episode at bigfatveganradio.com. Or, of course, you can leave a comment on this episode on YouTube in the comments below the video. Or you can tweet at us or email us or call us or Facebook us.
Great job, Ben.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is our year in review for 2012. And perhaps, Laura and I were thinking about what we would like to see for the year ahead in 2013. Laura, do you have any hopes, anything that you'd like to see come from the year ahead?
Yeah, I think it's happening, but I would like to see even more vegan options at all restaurants. I would really like to see chefs be more accommodating with that and more supportive of that. And I think that's really catching on. I really do. And so I'm hopeful that if we can, that's sort of on us as diners to ask for that and to call for that. But I think that we're definitely headed towards that. I mean, I think that vegans should be able to eat anywhere. And I think that, I think it can happen. I really do.
Yeah.
It needs to become a lot more mainstream.
I would like to echo that sentiment. Obviously, if I could hope for anything, I mean, clearly I can't say I hope 2013 is the world that we set all the animals free, just because I don't know that
animal
that's
liberation. That's my hope.
Yeah, total animal liberation by March for my birthday, damn it. But I mean, and I don't know, is it wrong not to hope for that? Because I mean, like, shouldn't I be hoping for the best possible? I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen this coming year. And if anyone feels that I'm to blame as a result, whatever. But I do feel that seeing more vegan options and just more awareness of veganism. I love that. I was recently talking to this guy from Brazil, and I was mentioning how he didn't speak a lick of English, and I don't speak a lick of Brazilianese, but we both sort of met in the middle at Spanish. And I was trying to explain in a foreign language how I'm vegan, and that means I don't eat this. And as soon as I started listing what I don't eat, he's like, yeah. No. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. I know what vegan is. Yeah, I know. Milk too, eggs too. Yeah. I know what vegan is. You don't have to explain it to me. And I love that. I just love that it's becoming so such a household word that people understand what it means. When I go out to eat, I don't have to always give the same song and dance about what vegan means. And sometimes I still do. But I would like to see more vegan options in 2013. I'll talk more about this in a future episode once I have more plans underway, but I am sort of working on a little kind of a plan. Without sounding too grandiose, this is sort of my version of Occupy. It's sort of my veganize, if you will. I have a plan to sort of veganize certain neighborhoods in my community, and hopefully for you all to go forth and veganize neighborhoods in your community that I would like to work on in 2013. I hope that's the year. I hope this is the year that takes off. I would like to see more celebrities going vegan for the right reasons, for ethical reasons, that is. And I would like to see more celebrities publicly coming out and talking about their veganism. I know it's not exactly vegan, it's just vegetarian, but when Sharon Needles, the winner of season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race, did a video for PETA. Actually, that probably should have made my Purr list for 2012. This is someone who has so many followers and admirers. Sharon Needles is almost like a cult status like Marilyn Manson. I mean, people follow her. And I feel like if she says, go vegetarian, people are going to do it, So I'd like to see a lot more of that in 2013. And also, just on a personal note, one thing I'd like to see a lot more of, one thing I've started to see more of is in my own family. I've seen, ever since Marianne and Jasmine came on my cooking show to do the kale episode, my family has embraced kale. I'm ashamed to say they've embraced it even more than I have. Like, they eat kale 2-3 times a week now. And I have some kale wilting in my fridge. I keep promising myself that today's the day I'm going to make the kale salad again. But so my brother has been shedding dozens of pounds, and he's using terms like muscle confusion, and he's like training with a trainer. And I'm really watching my family starting to embrace health. Today, by the way, January 2nd, as we record this, is my little sister's birthday. My little sister is now 32. That makes me feel old. But we were talking, and she mentioned how, when I ran my 5K back in May, I didn't even realize that my little sister ran a 5K. So I really feel like I'm watching my family just really embrace health and fitness. And so I hope to see that continue in 2013. Aside from our hopes for the animal rights and vegan community as a whole, I thought maybe it would be fun for Laura and I to talk about some personal year in review and some personal hopes for the new year to come. So just my own personal highlights from 2012. Last year is the year that I gave up soda. I was up about 10 pounds, and it kind of started to go away by itself as soon as I gave up, soft drinks. It's the year that I finally dabbled in performance art, and I'm just going to leave it at that. It's the year that I finally got serious about my own physical fitness. Back in March of 2012, I started going back to the gym. And in my whole life, I've always fallen off the bandwagon around 9 or 10 weeks of gym going, but not this time. It's been about maybe 9 months now, and I'm still going strong. We started this podcast in 2012.
Yeah, we did.
Very happy about that. Also, I performed at Pride Fest Milwaukee, and I did my very first live cooking demo, live on stage, assisted by my mom. And 2012, it's a small little thing, but it's the year that I went back to Iceland, which I haven't been in 6 years. It was my first time there as a vegan, so that was kind of cool. And I had an opportunity to do a lot of really cool interviews. I was a guest on a lot of, radio shows and podcasts and magazines, and I got a lot of press in 2012. So that's just really encouraging for me. And looking forward at the year to come in 2013, some of the things I would like to see happen. Having just been sick for a couple of days, I feel like the reason I got sick is because I've really been cheating myself on sleep. I've really been, as my parents always said, and now I'm finally saying the same, burning the candle at both ends. and trying to make it work by drinking copious amounts of energy drinks. And I really feel like that's the reason I've been getting sick more in the last couple of months than I ever normally do. And I think it's because I stay up late and I drink too many energy drinks, and it just compromises my immune system. So I would like to give up energy drinks in 2013. I feel like I already have 2 days into that goal, so I may as well just stay off of them. I've kind of unofficially announced plans to do my first ever one-man show. I'm going to finally do a cabaret this spring. I made an epic to-do list that I'm hoping to tackle this year. I'm looking to make this the year that I just get financially responsible. I want to cook more this year and just stay in my kitchen as often as I can and really organize the kitchen and do most of my own cooking. I have a lot of plans to travel this year. I have a lot of friends in other countries who've been begging me to visit for a long time. So I'm hoping 2013 will be the year that I take them up on their very generous offers to have me come visit them in Brazil and Moscow and Iceland. And I would just like to reach some kind of a personal fitness goal this year. My roommate and I sort of have this challenge for like, can we both be all hotted out by Halloween of 2013? And if we are, can we both go as something sexy, like sexy cops or sexy sailors or something? So, and the last little thing for 2013, I know I'm giving a long list here, but, I've got this new job and I'm hoping to get a little bit more responsible financially. And as I do, I would love to once again resume voice and dance training. So that is what I am looking forward to, hopefully in 2013.
Work it out, girl.
How about you, Laura?
Well, without being a total downer,
Here's some Shaka Khan in your head.
Shaka Khan, I feel for you. 2012 was not a very easy year for me. Although I will say it was a vast improvement over 2011, which was a very, very hard year for me. I had a lot of health problems and personal problems in 2011, and my health in 2012 was quite good. And I didn't have any major personal problems either, so that's great. Although I did move to California. That was huge and very unexpected, and I'm pretty excited about that. And I really like it out here. And, the twins I nanny, they learned how to walk. And that was one of the most exciting things that's ever happened to me was watch babies learn how to walk. It was very exciting. And, Ben, like you, I need to get some financial stuff in order this year for sure. Just want to, just always like to get the reins on that. And moving was very expensive for me. So I definitely am feeling that inspiration. I'm feeling inspired to get my finances in a row, get them lined up. And I'm also very hopeful. I mean, I hope I can say it. I'm very hopeful that we'll have our first live show of Big Fat Vegan Radio sometime this year, 2013.
It's
we'll
coming.
Do our first live show, which will hopefully become something we can do that I'm very excited about. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really a resolution maker. If anything, I just want to sort of keep my head up and, just take anything that comes my way as best as I can. As always, try to always have that attitude. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Our 2012 review and our sights on 2013. So, Laura, why don't you take us into some big fat vegan food?
Sure. I'm going to hijack this segment for this episode. We have 2 new vegan restaurants in the South Bay, San Jose area, which is super exciting. But first, I really want to talk about, I know I mentioned going on vacation with my family last week. And we went to Priest Lake, which is in Idaho, and it's quite remote, if you will. I didn't have any cell phone service. It was a little distressing.
Ouch.
Yeah. Luckily, there was Wi-Fi everywhere, so I was kind of connected. But anyway, so it's a place that my parents have been going for years. And they love it. It's kind of a getaway for them. And I went with them when I was young a few times, and I haven't been in years. Anyway, so there's only really like one restaurant you can go to, and it's in the resort, which my parents frequent, Hills Resort. There's also other resorts in the area and a bed and breakfast, etc. But Hills is a very highly rated resort. And my parents really love it there. And so my mom she had booked some kind of package deal, which came with dinners at the resort's restaurant, which is just, there's no name of the restaurant. It's just the Hills Resort restaurant. And you have a view of the lake, and it's very beautiful. And anyway, my mom called the resort and said, my daughter's vegan, which I wasn't going to do. Honestly, I was just going to try to order off the menu the way that I always do if I go to a non-vegan restaurant, and just be, just be like, oh, can you make this without this? Or could you do this? And, but she called and she said, so I'm making 2 dinner reservations, and my daughter's going to be with me, and she's vegan. I don't know if you will have anything for her. And the woman said, I'm going to make a note of it. And, the chef makes an effort to make something special if he knows that there's going to be a vegan in the house.
Nice.
I know. And so we got there. I had very low expectations. Even though my mom had said that, which sounded very promising, I had very low expectations. We sit down, and my mom says to the waitress, she says, so we called because my daughter, and she goes, oh, are you the vegan? And I was like, I am the vegan.
Why, yes, I
great.
am.
The chef has a special for you. And she described it to me. And it was spaghetti squash with sauteed vegetables and cherry tomato stuffed portobello mushrooms.
Okay.
And she goes, how's that sound? And I was like, I'll have it.
You're like,
fantastic.
what else do you have?
And that dish in particular was so good. It was so good that I forced my dad to eat some of it, even though he was like, had a huge meal himself. And he was like, I'm okay, babe. And I was like, you have to eat this. You have to taste it. It's so good. It was incredible. And so, I was really excited that the waitress said, she goes, how many nights are you here? And I was like, well, we're going to have dinner here again tomorrow. And she said, okay, great. Do you want to have him make the same thing or do something different? And I was like, either's fine, the same thing or something different is fine. She was like, okay, well, he'll probably want to do something different. And I was like, okay. So anyway, the next day, when I came back again for dinner, it was a totally different dish. It was polenta with fire roasted vegetables on top, portobello mushrooms and squash and zucchini and all this tomatoes. And when I say fire roasted, I mean like it was so fire roasted, it was crazy. Like I can't even. Like, I really haven't tasted anything like that since I had, like, a steak. And I mean that.
Wow.
It tasted charred.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was so rich and delicious. And, I was just so touched that they made me all these incredible meals. And also we went for breakfast both days, and they made me sauteed veggies and hash browns both days, but they were different. They were different dishes the 2 days. And then the other thing I wanted to say about Hills is that they have that area of the Pacific Northwest is huckleberries are indigenous there. And you can only get huckleberries in the Pacific Northwest because for some reason they won't grow farmed. They only grow wild. So they have all this huckleberry stuff, right? Like huckleberry jam, everything's huckleberry. And they had all this candy that was vegan. They had the huckleberry taffy and licorice and jelly beans. And wow. I really can't list how much candy I ate that was huckleberry candy. It was so awesome. And particularly, I also wanted to say, because we went out to a couple other stores and I was looking at all the huckleberry stuff there. For whatever reason, the Hills Resort selection had the best vegan selection, which was great. So I just can't endorse them enough. The chef, it's a family-owned place, and the chef is Scott Hill. He's the son of the owners who founded the Hills Resort. So he's the head chef. And I just was totally, not that anyone's going to go out to Idaho and go to a lakeside resort, but if you do,
you never know.
They're vegan friendly.
I can't wait to hear the one listener that's like, yeah, so I went out to Hreinsnef, Iceland, and I went to that little place where you had the vegan option. It was really good.
Really? How funny.
That'll be the day.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, though.
It's just, also, I think more importantly, the lesson I learned from that is how important it is to call and ask and make yourself known. And because I'm gonna write the resort a thank you card, a handwritten thank you card, and I'm gonna try to Yelp them and go on hotels.com and really write positive reviews because I'm really so grateful that they had such good service for me. And I think that's the best I can do to respond to it is to sort of promote it. And that's why I wanted to tell everybody about it. And, because there are places that you call and they don't do anything. It's true. But I'm just so thrilled that they were so accommodating and it was so it was crazy good. It was so good. It was phenomenal. So I can't say enough good things. And check out their website. And if anybody's in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, it's awfully beautiful there. It's really, really peaceful. I just slept like I've never slept before. It's just so quiet and cold.
Though I have to say, if I were in the middle of nowhere and they basically custom prepared one vegan option for me and it was the only option for me and it had the word portobello in it, I would just start crying.
Oh, that's right, because you don't like portobello.
Oh, my God. I don't like portobello mushrooms for the same reason that I don't just walk up to a whale with a fork and knife and start eating its blubber.
Well, I really like mushrooms, so for me it was fine.
I'm so glad it was. That's a talent to be able to like mushrooms like you do, because the way the world must taste.
Well, I wish I could like bell peppers like you do.
Well, maybe we can teach each other. Do you know, I don't know why I'm saying this. This is so sad. When I was a little gay kid struggling to like not be gay, I thought, you know what I need to do? I need to find a lesbian. And we're going to sit down and we're going to tell each other why we're attracted to the same gender in hopes that I can convince her that men are attractive and maybe she can convince me my women are attractive.
Oh, wow. You just broke my heart with that.
Isn't that funny?
I think what we should do is we should just go out to eat together and I'll give you my bell peppers and you can give me your mushrooms.
No, fine. Done. It won't be really cost effective or eco-friendly, what with all the air travel.
There's a lot of air travel. I'm just going to overnight you my bell peppers in a flat rate box.
Can you imagine you get to the restaurant, you text me and you're like, I'm here. And I'll be like, oh, okay, my flight was delayed. Just hang on.
Anyway, so the other thing I wanted to talk about in this segment, so sorry I'm hijacking it from Ben, everybody, but there's a new veggie grill in San Jose, which is super exciting. If you don't know what Veggie Grill is, it's like a chain, and they're mostly located in Southern California. And so they just opened this one in San Jose, which is basically the most north any of the locations have yet gone. And I mean, I can't even talk about the food at Veggie Grill. I can't talk about it. Because I love it so much. I can't talk about it. It is so good. Everything is good. I've gone a million times. Million's not right. I've gone 4 or 5 times. And I get something different every time. And then I always order extra food and take it home to go so I can get more at home. Everything's fun. I like everything. I haven't tasted anything I don't like. I literally like everything. It's so great. I love it. And I just really hope that they're successful and they can continue to open locations and spread out. And I just go to the Veggie Grill.
God, I'd love to have
it's so
that
good.
out here.
That's the place I sent you that picture of the burger from. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. You know, Jasmine and Marianne were talking a lot about them because they spent 6 months out in Portland. And it just sounds, the way people talk about it, it sounds like it's like the vegan McDonald's or something.
It's better than that, though, because everything is really healthy.
Yeah.
Like it's not like junk vegan food. It's really good.
Oh,
like
I don't imagine that it is, but it just sounds like people have the same reaction. Like, oh my God, I love Veggie Grill so much.
I don't know what non-vegetarian person wouldn't like Veggie Grill. I mean, it's like a total crowd pleaser. You could take anyone there and they would love it. The other thing they have is they have tons of great salads. They have all these chopped salads and like, oh, it's just such a great lunch place. It's very casual. There's like no pressure and it's just everything is fantastic. I like the mac and cheese. I like the kale. I want to go there right now.
There you have it. Veggie Grill.
I gotta go.
And looks like you have one more thing here.
I do. I actually haven't eaten there yet, so this is to be continued. But there is a new vegan pizzeria also in San Jose called Plant-Based Pizza. And I tried to go there. I'm so bummed. I tried to go, I think it was the day before Christmas Eve or something, and it was like a Sunday, and they closed like an hour early, and I just barely missed it. So I haven't been there yet, but I'm going to go. And they have vegan pizza, and they also have like pizzeria stuff. They've got like cheesesteaks and a couple other stuff. Everything's vegan. And they use Daya mostly, I think, for their pizzas. And it looks fantastic. The menu looks like a total, just junk food heaven.
That I love the name, and it's entirely a vegan place.
Yes, 100% vegan, and you even get a discount if you adopt a dog from a local shelter or rescue a cat. You get a discount on your pizza, or you get a free pizza or something. They have it posted in the window.
Is getting crazy. That's ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah, they're totally cute. I can't wait to try them. So to be continued. I'll say on the next episode, I'll have my pizzeria review ready to go.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that. I told Laura before we started recording that I didn't really have any food places to mention for this episode, but then I just realized that I do have one that I have not talked about yet. And I'll make it really short because I don't have much that I need to say about it. But I have been like on days like today where I'll wake up and I'll forget what day it is. I'm like, wait a minute, is it Saturday or Sunday yet? Because whenever it is Saturday or Sunday, I will wake up, and I usually wake up like around 3 p.m. and I only have an hour left for brunch, and I will hop a cab 20 blocks away to Blossom Cafe on the Upper West Side. They're located on Columbus Avenue between 82nd and 83rd, because I've gotten such a craving for vegan pancakes. So I'll go there, I'll get the vegan pancakes with blueberries and chocolate chips. And as much as I love pancakes, I'm secretly just going there for like the biggest plate they can bring me of tempeh bacon. I've never been a big fan of tempeh bacon because I'm like, just bring me soy bacon, because tempeh bacon does not taste like bacon to me. Oh my God, Marie. Their tempeh bacon is the best. I'm doing that thing with my hands right now, how Italians talk when they're talking about food. Their tempeh bacon is so phenomenal that I just like, I could eat a whole plate full of it. In fact, I got a big brick of tempeh, and I want to follow Colleen Patrick Goudreau's tempeh bacon demonstration that she has on YouTube to try to make it myself at home. But yeah, if you haven't been, check out Blossom Cafe. 82nd and Columbus on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. They have a really fabulous brunch. They also have just a gorgeous menu year-round with some really awesome specials. They're one of those restaurants, I don't see a lot of places these days that are like, would you like the regular menu or would you like to hear the specials? But they do have some awesome specials. And milkshakes and desserts and whatnot. So we just got our what is Chloe's Kitchen.
Chloe's
we just got
Kitchen,
our autograph.
Signed copy of Chloe's Kitchen.
Can I see the autograph? What does it say?
It says happy cooking XOXO Chloe.
Yay!
And she's I love her, you guys. Sometimes when you don't know what like someone you've seen on TV or someone you like but you don't know is like, and you're nervous about it. That's how I felt when I met Chloe, and she's the nicest person alive, possibly. She's incredible. She is incredible. Everybody love Chloe. Love her.
Yeah. That's an excellent segue, by the way, just to talk about our current ongoing fundraising efforts. We are still, of course, you can donate year round to Big Fat Vegan Radio. We accept
at any
donations.
time. If you're drunk and you just want to drop a couple $100, go for it.
Seriously. But so you can donate year round to Big Fat Vegan Radio. If you haven't donated yet, please consider it. We really could use the help covering our operation costs. But we're as we said in our last episode, we are going to do a big push for fundraising every 3 months, just so you don't have to hear about it all the time. Our current fundraising push will go till the end of this month, January 31st. And whoever our top 2 donors are by the end of January 31st, Laura, could you remind them what they'll be getting?
You'll either get a signed copy of Chloe's Kitchen or a copy of Drina Burton's Let Them Eat Vegan, which is, by the way, an incredible cookbook. Oh my God, I can't believe how many recipes there are in there. And they're all fabulous and super healthy. So those are 2 of my favorite cookbook authors. I'm so grateful that they donated their books.
Oh, yep. And of course, to all of our donors, regardless the amount that you've donated, you will be getting some access codes from us for discounts at Gone Pie Vegan Bakery, at Hippopotheca, and at vegancuts.com.
We have been sending those out since the first of this month. So actually, if you did donate and you didn't get your codes, you need to contact us because I'm emailing whatever email you sent your PayPal payment from. So I'm assuming that people are getting in them. Please holler if you're not getting them.
Absolutely. And again, if you do want to donate to Big Fat Vegan Radio, you can go to bigfatveganradio.com, and on the top right of our page, there will always be a big fat yellow donate button. But if you'd like just a quick and easy URL that you can share with people, if you go to, one second here, you can just go to tinyurl.com/bigfatvegan. And that will take you directly to our PayPal donation page where you can enter any amount you want to donate. So if you would like to help us spread the word about that, we really appreciate it. And it would be really easy just to share that link with people or tweet about it or, you know, pay a lot of money to have a skywriter, like write it in the sky, you know. So there you have it. So we've got some voicemails this episode.
Yeah, we do. I'm so excited to play them.
We actually have one voicemail that we completely overlooked from the fabulous Pamela Doridis. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your last name, Pam.
Pam. We're just going to call you Pam.
I have a fever of 138. Just leave me alone. Actually, I have no fever at all. I feel fine-ish, but I'm clammy, if that counts for anything. Pamela Doridis? I'm just going to say Doridis.
I'm going to say
that
Pam.
Doesn't sound like... all right, Pamela. Oh, Pamela. Say Pamela, because I don't think Pamela is necessarily like being called Pam.
Pamela.
Pamela. So we're going to go ahead and play our voicemail from Pamela. Mind you, this is from November 12th, so this is a little old, and we've since gotten back to her, but we're going to play it for you again here.
Hey, guys. This is Pamela from Atlanta, and my Twitter handle is Pamela_D. And I just wanted to leave you a message today about a situation that I ran into last week when I was shopping. I went to a local gift store, and it's one of those, you know, shishi, frou-frou gift stores. Anyway, I was walking around the store, and it's in an old house, so you go from room to room. You can't really see what's in the next room until you turn a corner, and I turned a corner to go into a room, and I saw this big bird cage. And I thought, oh, wow, this is a beautiful, like, antique bird cage. And then I looked a little further, and there was a live bird in it. And I know that a lot of these kinds of stores will have a bird in a cage, which I really just don't understand. I mean, who's going to buy the bird? You know, we don't need a bird to go shopping. But, I mean, I know that stores like this will have it basically as decoration. And for people to coo over. Well, I saw this bird, and I just stopped in my tracks. You know, it's not like I've never seen a bird in a cage before, but I watched him for a couple of minutes. I just stood there, and my heart sank. I just felt so terrible for this poor creature. I watched his body language, and he was definitely trying to get out of that cage or find a way out or to do something. And he did not appreciate my standing there either. So I backed up, then I just, you know, backed away so I wouldn't scare him. Clear that he was not happy in that cage and he was trying to get out. And I left. I just, you know, I had a couple things in mind that I wanted to buy at the store, but I couldn't do it after that. My heart was so low, and I felt so badly for this little bird who just wanted to be free and who shouldn't be in a freaking cage, that spending my money, especially at that store, was suddenly the last thing on my mind. And I just left the store and went home and felt terrible the rest of the evening. The reason I'm leaving you this message is because I would like your input, and maybe this will help other people too. I kind of feel like a hypocrite because I left that store because I felt bad for that bird, and I didn't want to give money to a store that was holding that little bird captive like that. But when I go to just about any other store in the world, I'm giving my money to people who wear leather and to people who eat meat. And, you know, I there's a restaurant here in Atlanta that has birds in cages outside, and I go there sometimes because they have a lot of vegan food. So I feel like a total hypocrite, and I just was wondering what your thoughts about it are, what your take on it was. Would you have left that store? Would you have said, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about this, and I can't be perfect? I don't know. I just, like I said, I don't regret leaving, but after getting home, I felt like there was no real ethically, morally consistent thing to do in that situation. So anyway, that's my voicemails and questions. And I look forward to hearing what your answer is. Thanks, guys. Oh, and I love listening to your podcast. I really enjoy it a lot, so keep up the good work. Bye.
Oh, Pamela, that sounds like you sound so sweet. That's such a sad story.
Indeed, my heart really sinks reading that. I really feel I can really feel her empathy for this poor bird.
I know. I'm not exactly sure what to say either, though. I think that you're I think that basically what you were feeling afterwards is that you wish you had said something. It's the impression I'm getting.
Agreed.
And I think you could have said something. Of course, the question is when you're emotional like that, what do you say and how do you say it? I think the only thing I would say, I would have maybe said in that situation is you could always just ask whoever's there, manager, even a clerk, whatever, be like, do you know why there's a bird in the cage? I mean, is it really necessary? I just feel bad looking at them because they clearly look very unhappy and it's making me not want to shop here. And if you said that, that would definitely affect me. Even if it wasn't my store, I was just an employee, I would be like, wow, thank you for telling me. That's really great to know. And I will let someone know. But it's definitely not worth making a huge scene over, but you could definitely shoot an email, maybe mention it on Yelp or call and say that you found it upsetting that there was a bird trying to escape a cage that was clearly just there for decoration. Or you don't have to say anything at all. I mean, really, but it's, I'm just very sad picturing this little bird trying to get out of its cage.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Laura said. I mean, it sounds like this was very emotional for you. And I know that when I get really emotional about that, sometimes it's not the best time for me to say something right then and there. Maybe I need to walk it off, take a breather. I am a big fan of a mantra that I heard Colleen Patrick Goudreau uses, which is just, God, please put the love in my heart, the words in my mouth, and help me to tell the truth. And in a lot of difficult situations, when I just repeat that over and over to myself, it just kind of helps to center me so that I'm coming from a place of love and truth, and that I'm not coming from a place of anger or hate. Because I will get in a situation like this and I will forget that the poor sales girl behind the cash register who might be working 2 jobs to make ends meet, she's not the person who captured this bird from the wild and put him in a cage and decides to keep him there, and she doesn't deserve my anger. But definitely communicating to the person who runs that store that, look, the reason I chose not to spend lots of dollars in your establishment is because you have a caged bird in there and it sickens me. And you know what? In a situation like there, I usually get a little activist-y about it. I won't just email myself. I will say, I'll go around to a few other people I know and ask them, tell them what I saw and be like, hey, would you also help me out by dropping a letter to this place? And, hey, Pamela, if you want to share the business information with Big Fat Vegan Radio, and maybe we could have a whole lot of people email them and give them a piece of our mind. I mean, I really don't see why not, but when you're trying, it sounds like you're trying to get a little too down on yourself, like calling yourself a hypocrite and saying, well, yeah, but I do this and I do that and I'm not perfect. And how can I challenge this person but not challenge that person? First off, okay, here's the difference. Here's where it's different, okay? A restaurant that is, serving animals to people on the menu, they kind of have to serve animals on the menu to stay in business. I'm not saying they can't be successful as a vegan restaurant, but a lot of places serve animals, whether they're flesh or secretions, because that's the business that they're in. That's the reason that they put a building there, so they can put animals on plates, you know. That they might cater to vegans is a nice aside. This place, to be a little, you know, knick-knack souvenir shop, a little, you know, thrift store, they don't have to put a bird in a cage in order to stay in business. It's completely unnecessary to their business. So it will be very easy for them to stop doing that and continue doing business, as opposed to trying to go after a restaurant and say, take all animals off your menu. Now, it would be great if you could do that and they'd follow, but it's a lot easier for this place just to stop caging birds for you to find pretty while shopping for knickknacks, you know, and to consider yourself a hypocrite because you're giving your money to people who wear leather or to people who eat meat. Well, sure. I mean, a lot of people that I give my money to throughout the day are not necessarily vegan people or vegan companies, but I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm going to live my life under that much scrutiny. But you know, when you feel something weighing so heavily on your conscience, you know, when your heart just sinks and you feel sick to your stomach, this is one of those situations where it's like, stop listening to your head and listen to your gut. You know, your gut is telling you this is wrong and I need to say something, you know. That it's so quick that we will start listening to our head to sort of make a big argument that just diffuses how we feel, and it disperses that anger until it's become so generalized that nothing is pointed, nothing is specific, and suddenly, you know, we're just being playing devil's advocate and we're just being intellectual about the whole thing. But the truth is, you connected with that bird, you felt that bird's pain, and you want to do something to help the bird out. So focus on that and concentrate on that, because you never know what might be behind it. You know, it might be a really easy victory to be won right now. You know, and I'm serious. If this isn't too much to ask, Laura, I'd say, hey, Pamela, let us know who this establishment is. And I'd be happy to Yelp about it. I'd be happy to write them or
I can write a letter. No problem.
I'll call them. Hey, my roommate is from Atlanta, and I'll be happy to tell him to say the same to some friends as well. You know, let's get some people to drop him a letter, and I bet you we can do something about that bird. And maybe next would be about the practice of keeping birds in places like this or on the balcony outside of restaurants, you know, for decoration.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Let's do it. By the way, everyone, we love to answer your questions over here at Big Fat Vegan Radio. You can contact us a multitude of ways. You can call us at 315-VEGAN-01. That's 315-834-2601. You can send us an email at bigfatveganradio@gmail.com. You can tweet at us. Our handle is at BigFatVegans. Or you can Facebook us. You can find us by looking for Big Fat Vegan Radio on Facebook.
Awesome. So this next voicemail comes to us from the most adorable sounding girl. Her name is Stephanie, up in Calgary, which is in Alberta, Canada. You can find her at Vegan Calgary on Twitter. Also, we've got to mention Pamela. Pamela is on Twitter as... I'm not savvy on how to say people's Twitter handles. She is at Pamela_D. So Stephanie just left us the cutest sounding voicemail, and I've spent a whole month just unable to wait to get back to her. So this is from Stephanie.
Hi, this is Stephanie calling from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm so nervous now that I'm leaving a message, but I was just thinking after I heard the last episode that somebody didn't leave you a question, that I would man up and leave one. So my question is just about dating vegans or non-vegans. I imagine you have kind of more of a choice living in New York to find people that are also vegan to date. I live in what's called cattle country out here in Alberta, so we don't have a lot of choices in that department. But I was just wondering if you had any stories or any kind of funny experiences that happened with dating non-vegans or vegans, or just any advice for those of us who are looking for somebody to date who is vegan as well. As I said, I'm from Calgary, and my Twitter handle is just @VeganCalgary. Thanks so much. I love the podcast. Bye.
Stephanie, you're the cutest thing I ever heard.
She is such a cutie patootie, to quote the world's shortest term vegan ever. Yeah, Stephanie, I do have, I guess, a funny story about, well, two sort of stories. I have a friend of mine who went vegan a little less than a year ago. And he's very hard and fast vegan. Like, now that he's vegan, nothing other than perfect veganism makes sense to him. And suddenly he's like, I could never date a non-vegan. I can't understand how anyone who's vegan could date someone who's not vegan, and blah, 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 blah. And to be honest, I feel 1,000% the same way until my heart gets in the way and there's someone who I might have feelings for. And I'm like, well, the fact that this person is not vegan, parentheses, yet, let's not forget yet, can I really deny what my heart is feeling? You know, so I don't know that for me, I would make some rule. I mean, look, I look at it this way. I have in my head what is my ideal. And it's not just in my head, it's actually on a list on a piece of paper somewhere. But it's about 18 different things that I came up with.
He has a vision board.
It is a vision board of sorts of my ideal mate. And there's 18 things on that list. Now, from time to time, I take another look at that, and I might want to change that list a little bit or add to it or subtract from it. I would definitely say that number 19 that would go on the list would be vegan. Definitely. Vegan is one of the 19 things on a list that I keep in my heart of prerequisites for something I want to find in another guy. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to find all 19, right? But I can ask myself, if I'm, getting serious with a guy and he meets only 5 or 6 things out of my list of 19, what am I doing? What am I doing getting involved with this person when clearly so much about him does not meet my ideal? Now if someone meets, 10 out of 19, well, that's not bad. Now, these are simple things I have on my list of like, well, he needs to, we need to have something in common. He needs to be someone who is an optimistic person in general, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of just real simple, basic needs on there. But if I meet someone and he's like 15 out of the 19 things I'm looking for, but he's just not vegan, then can I really deny that I found someone special who's a close match for me? So I'm no longer of that mindset. Yes, so to find someone who's vegan is a huge, huge plus for me, and it's definitely what I consider my ideal man. But I would never say no to someone just because they're not vegan. Now, I do want to tell a story about a couple that I know. My friend Ethan, Ethan Cement, who is I'm sure if I were quicker, I could have come up with his handle here.
Ethan the vegan?
Is it Ethan the vegan on Twitter?
Is he a doctor?
He is. He is the doctor
Does he live in
Chelsea.
Jersey?
Yes, he does.
Ethan the vegan.
Ethan the vegan. So my friend Ethan, he's been vegan for, I want to say maybe about 4 years now, because he went vegan when I started reading The Face on Your Plate. And I guess he once was vegetarian, and then that book made him want to go back into it. And so he went full on vegan about 4 years ago, and that actually is one of the things that inspired me to go vegan as well. And his partner Michael was not vegan. His partner Michael is like this big, weightlifter guy who's in great shape and concerned with getting his protein, and just did not want to be pushed about it. Michael, his husband now, Michael did not want to be pushed or prodded to go vegan or to feel this way or that way. That was a very personal thing to him. He didn't want to be told he has to do this, that, or the other. And Ethan just kind of let it alone, and over time, I mean, I do think it took quite a while. I think it took about, almost 3 years even, but over like 2.5 or 3 years of being in love with and being married to a passionate vegan. I mean, Ethan is a very passionate, outspoken vegan. Michael came around, and eventually he started, testing those waters, and now he's full on vegan, and he'll even tell you so. So, I mean, for all you know, some cute boy out there in cattle country, you might be the only person he's ever going to meet who will even say the word vegan. You might be, he may never have even heard of the concept of not eating animals, or never even entertained the thought of why should we leave animals alone in the first place, until Stephanie came into his life, So I don't think you really need to worry about only dating a vegan, especially when that doesn't sound very practical where you live, Just always be about carrying a message. And just like vegan pilot Marty said, every day, his goal is to make one more vegan in the world, Keep carrying that message and spreading the word about veganism, and you never know. The cute boy you start dating today who's eating a T-bone tonight, he might be asking you to make him, a delicious tofu steak, a year from now.
Yeah. I'm surprised to hear you say that, Ben, because I actually, I don't know Ethan personally, but I do know him from the virtual world. And I actually follow his husband on Twitter. I would never have guessed that he was ever reluctant. He's a very passionate vegan.
Really? Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I also, to respond to you, sweet Stephanie, Ben and I are both single, so our answer is going to come from a different place than somebody who was in a relationship. And I will say that I'm a little soured on this topic because my relationship ended not long after I went vegan, and I do feel that it was a big part of why our relationship ended, because I was living with my partner. We'd been together for several years, and he was really upset when I went vegan. And I'm not going to act like we didn't have other problems. Of course we did, but I do think it was a big part of his decision. It had a really big effect on him. And I'm sad to say that. I think that's very disappointing. So I have to say that when I meet a vegan guy, I'm instantly attractive and find it very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very attractive. So, however, I know tons of mixed couples. I think that's more the norm than vegan couples, two vegan people together. Although I do think it's also very bonding. It's a huge thing to have in common, and it's really a belief system, and your beliefs are really aligned. And I think that it's very appealing. It's very easy for me to say that I do feel it would be hard for me to move to a certain level with somebody who wasn't vegan, but I don't think it would be hard for me to date somebody who wasn't vegan. And I certainly wouldn't not date somebody because they weren't vegan. And I'll also tell you that the folks at PETA, actually, they have like a saying. They say that it's a vegan's responsibility to date someone who isn't vegan, convert them, and then dump them, and then date somebody new.
Oh, I love
So
it.
I'm not telling you to do that. But yeah, look, it's just one part of a person. And as far as I'm concerned, of course, I can't speak for everyone, but, I was very affected by learning about animal agriculture, and I changed. So, that can happen to anybody. And if you're dating someone and you really care about them, and veganism is really important to you, eventually they're going to see that part of your life, and they will connect to it in one way or another. I'm always inspired by, if you read the blog Jay All Goes Vegan, she is married and her husband's not vegan, and she wasn't vegan when they got married, but she is now. And he's not vegan still, but he's incredibly supportive and is always cooking her vegan feasts. And, I think there's a lot of relationships out there like that. And, it's all a personal choice. But, just go convert one of those cattle country cowboys.
Absolutely. I don't know why, but that just sounds so hot. That's got me so turned on right now.
Yeah, there's something hot about cowboys.
No, correction. There's something hot about cowboys going vegan and ditching their cowboy ways.
Oh my God, right? And like throwing out their leather boots.
I love it. So, is that it?
I think that is it. That's a long one.
It's a long one, but only every once a year will we have to stop and review the year.
We're talking about a lot of important stuff here, people.
Absolutely. From vegan shoes to astronauts.
We are moving towards 2013 with fresh faces and clear eyes and open hearts.
I don't know about fresh faces, but I definitely have an open heart.
Well, I don't even have clean hair, so
I did that thing where I was sick for so long that I kind of wasn't taking a shower. So I got in the shower and I'm like, well, I probably need to scrub my face extra hard. So here's the thing. When you scrub your face under running water in a shower with terry cloth, you can't feel that you're stripping a layer of live skin. You don't feel it until you're out of the shower and you dry your skin.
Scales are just shaving off your face.
Yeah, I mean, you just feel
You're
the
just shedding skin.
The sting all over your face. My face is beet red and shiny and oily all day. My face hurts.
It sounds fresh. Your face sounds fresh.
Yeah, my face sounds flesh is what it is.
All right, everyone. That's it. We're going to wrap this bad boy up. Ben, got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, as always, you can check out Honey LeBronx's Vegan Drag Queen Cooking Show at vegandragqueen.com. Episode 6 finally just went up. It's my tofu scramble, so check that out. And you can always buy my medieval oil. I did a little product placement in episode 6. You can check that out at medievaloil.com. That's MEDIEVAL oil.com. There's hundreds of different uses for this stuff. Buy it for yourself, buy it for a friend. You're going to get hooked on it. And Laura, I see you have a really exciting project coming up. I can't wait to hear about this.
I guess. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I'm nervous about it. But I do have a new YouTube project that I'm hopefully going to start. I'm saying it on the show so that I'll do it because I want to chicken out. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled. I will promote it. If you guys find me on Facebook, you can like my Facebook page. A lot of people friend request me. I'm sorry, I'm such a jerk about that because I'm like concerned about stalkers. So I prefer it if you like the fan page. I know there's a vegan drag queen fan page people can also like. Isn't that right, Ben?
That is very much correct.
Yep. So you can like our pages. And anyway, I'll post it on there. And yeah. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. LARAYAZ.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, and you can follow Honey LeBronx on Twitter at just Honey LeBronx. Also, please check out her fan page on Facebook. Just search for Vegan Drag Queen. And we all know I love being stalked until it gets creepy. Sometimes it does get creepy. So until it gets creepy, I don't mind it. But feel free to send me a Facebook friend request. I do like other drag queens looking at me like, yeah, she's not that pretty, but she does have a lot of friends on Facebook. So that's that. That is that. Laura, would you like to tell us about our musical guest?
Oh, today's musical guest is going to be Marlene Sosaby. She was kind enough to find our show online and contact us and send us several tracks. So we're going to be featuring, I think we'll probably feature all 4 of the songs she sent us at some point or another. And today we're going to feature one of them. And they're all about she's all about living a vegan lifestyle and spreading the message. So thank you, Marlene, and we hope everyone enjoys the song.
Yeah, so at the end of this episode, please enjoy the song Vegan Life by Marlene Sosaby.
Great.
As always, a big fat vegan shout out to our good friend, the Michael Heron.
I miss you, Michael.
We do. He just got back today. Or was it yesterday? I've been asleep for so long.
I don't live in New York.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Did you guys hear that? Ben actually forgot that I don't live in New York.
Well, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you right now. You're in my room. But
Ben, you and I are always together.
We are in spirit or in wherever there's Shaka Khan playing. Laura is there. Oh, here she goes. She's moving and shaking. You are a real mover and shaker. Did you know that? I never did. So Michael Heron, he helped us with our fabulous, fabulous theme song, or at least I think it's fabulous. I don't care what you think. You can find him at michaelheron.com. And as always, a big thank you to Kelly Huffine for our cartoon and logo. You can find her work at kelly42fox.deviantart.com.
Well, that's all we've got today for Big Fat Vegan Radio. Please subscribe to us through iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. It is extra helpful if you can give us an awesome rating and a glowing review.
Mm-hmm. And be sure to let us know what you thought of this episode on our Facebook page. You can send us a tweet, leave us a voicemail, or leave us a comment at bigfatveganradio.com. You can now also find us on our new YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/bigfatveganradio. Please subscribe and feel free to leave a comment on the episode on YouTube. We would love to hear from you. And as always, our fundraising drive is continuing indefinitely. But if you want to get some of those Big Fat Vegan perks, be sure to have your donations in by January 31st. That's it for today. So thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Ben.
And thank you to Shaka Khan.
I feel for you, Shaka Khan. I feel for you. Have a great day, everyone. One more thing.
Oh, what? Did we forget something?
It's just same old.
Go vegan!
All I want to do is
Can we play a little Shaka Khan here? I love Shaka Khan. I'm playing some Shaka Khan right now.
Woo!
Gotta love her. This is my favorite song. I'm gonna play it.
You'll have to send me the track because I can't hear it. I do see a little Laura just bouncing around on my screen, and it makes me think that should be an app. Why should I be the only one that gets to see happy Laura bouncing around to Shaka Khan? Isn't it make it better listening to her music knowing that she's vegan? That is a vegan lady you're listening to. I have lost Laura to the Shaka Khan. She's gone. It's like she was bit or something. I'm going to have to wait for the Shaka Khan to work its way through her system. It's like a venom. Someone hand her a glow stick.
It's so funny that you can't hear it right now because I'm so into it. I'm so deep.
I really can't. I really can't. You know what, though? As soon as we're done recording the podcast, you can enjoy as much Shaka Khan as you'd like. I lost her. Oh, I lost her. So it's time for another private moment between me and the audience. So audience, guess who else went vegan in 2012? Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell went vegan after learning that Bill Clinton had a heart attack.
I feel for you. I think I love you.
I'm embarrassed to say I could not name a single song by Shaka Khan.
You. I'm turning it off.
Ask me one song by Shaka Khan.
What's one song by Shaka Khan?
I'm Every Woman, right? I'm Every Woman, It's All in Me.
Oh, I don't think so.
I know Whitney recorded that, but wasn't that originally Shaka Khan?
I'm looking it up.
If that's not Shaka Khan, then I don't know any Shaka Khan songs.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah? It's the only song I can say.
I didn't know that, but it is.
Hers. Yeah, it's the only song I can say that I know of hers.
Oh, I feel for you. My dad used to play that, and I would dance in the living room when I was 5. It's a very visceral song for me. I'm like totally in my parents' living room dancing when that song comes on.
Yeah. I'm that way with the song Private Eyes, I'm Watching You by, I think, Hall & Oates. Yeah. Oh, here she goes again. Here she goes again. I really need to make this a screen capture so y'all can see.
Can you videotape it? No. Can I? I can't videotape me.
I need a screen capture application. So, Laura, I hear snaps. I can't see the video anymore.
Sorry,
Laura,
I'm trying to turn the video back on. Oh, Shaka Khan. Shh.
Okay.
I videotaped a little dancing.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I hope it's entertaining. If it's not, we shouldn't post it.
Our users can see that on our new YouTube page. Tell you what, you Dropbox that video to me, and
okay, you know what? I'm watching myself dance right now, and it's pretty goddamn funny.
Okay. Better than them watching me dance, because I am all thumbs and elbows. I'm like Elaine on Seinfeld.
I'm snapping and everything.
Only Elaine thinks she's a good dancer. I do not think I'm a good... If I ever tell you I think I'm a good dancer, I'm high again.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm Dropboxing you this ridiculous video. The first half is better when I had my eyes closed.
Bless your heart.